Why can't you be happy with what you have? Why can't you get a regular 9-to-5 desk job just like the rest of the world? Why are your dreams so big? Why are you the black sheep of the family? You're not the son I raised. As far as we're concerned, you don't even exist. Those negative words probably should have scarred me for the rest of my life, but I used those words as motivational words to achieve dreams, big dreams, and my challenge became finding a pathway that would allow me to get there. Welcome to the Founder's Journey. My name is John Wensveen. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer at Nova Southeastern University and Executive Director of the Levin Center of Innovation. I have a PhD in International Air Transport Management, and I'm author of 2 books, including a global bestseller. Today, I have oversight of a multi-million-dollar public-private partnership, the largest innovation center model in the southeast region of the United States, a $15 million investment to date. I was born and raised in Vancouver, Canada, and at the age of 3, my family decided to put us on our very first airplane ride. I was dressed in a U.S. Air Force flight suit. I had my wings, my golden lapels, and although I don't really remember everything that happened that day, there were little bits and pieces. I was told that I was pretty hot to trot. Our family was going to take us on our very first Christmas vacation on an airplane, and we were traveling from Vancouver, British Columbia to Honolulu, Hawaii. Aloha. As we got on board the airplane and it began to taxi from the terminal to the runway, one of the engines caught on fire. The airplane came to a stop, and the passengers and the crew had to evacuate the aircraft. It was chaos. It was pandemonium. At least that's what I was told. But this 3-year-old boy was excited, found joy, and that was the day that the aviation bug bit me. We live in a world of acceleration and disruption. And it's technology that's making that happen. And that technology is created by entrepreneurs. And if you think about the global epicenter of the world around technology, it's always been Silicon Valley for decades and decades, success after success after success. But things are changing. There are technology hubs all over the world, and there are emerging technology hubs that are starting to spawn at record levels. And there's one region in the world right now that's on fire. It is the hottest place to be. It's been traditionally known for cruise ships, sunshine, and beaches, and hopefully forevermore. But we're also going to be known for something around technology, and that's South Florida. And within the next 5 years, South Florida is going to be a nationally designated tech hub. It's also going to be the case study that the rest of the world uses to show how you can grow a successful innovation ecosystem at a very accelerated pace. But how are we going to do that? We're going to do that using something called an innovation center model as one of the catalysts among other resources. Innovation centers exist all over the world, and they continue to grow. Every day there's one opening. And traditionally what they do is they support that founder's journey from the birth of an idea right through the successful exit of a company. The challenge is that no individual, no organization has ever actually performed success with one of these models to the point that there are no more holes in it. So that leads a new opportunity. And the founder's journey is going to take on another evolution. That founder's journey that goes from birth of an idea through successful exit of a company, it's going to be accelerated, and there's going to be success story after success story with something that I term the founder's journey 2.0. So what does that mean? If you could reverse your success, what would that look like? And how do we make sure that the entrepreneur is successful through their entire journey? The best way to visualize that is to look at a baseball diamond. And if you think about the entrepreneur holding that bat, getting ready to hit that ball, and they've got their eyes on first base, that's their goal. Then second, then third, and hopefully they'll cross home plate. That's where the success is measured. It's kind of like looking at a roadmap. And let's just say the entrepreneur wants to drive from city A to city B. And that highway allows them to do off-ramp exits. But unfortunately, many of those off-road exits end up in streets that have dead ends, and therefore they fail. Most entrepreneurs do fail. They don't succeed, but they learn from those failures. So if you go back to the baseball diamond analogy and you pretend you're the entrepreneur at bat getting ready to hit that ball, instead of looking at first, what if you looked at home plate as success, then third base, then second base, and then first? What we've just done in that scenario is we've defined what our success is at the beginning of the journey, rather than seeing what our success might be at the end of the journey. And in order to do that, imagine if we could build a theme park for entrepreneurs, where at every twist and every turn, there was a new ride. And every one of those rides led to some kind of success, whether it be small, whether it be big. And those successes came in the form of things like wraparound services, a giant collision station, an economic and education development engine that for the very first time forced entrepreneurs to collide with academia, industry, government, funders, professional and social networks, and then those wraparound service providers. Those service providers are the rides. Imagine going to a ride where you could learn about business planning and do it. Marketing, branding, strategy, finance, legal, accounting, HR, technology, self-care management. Entrepreneurs don't think about the human mind and the human body. And even through my own founder's journey, I never looked at myself in that way. I didn't know that that was a tool that would lead me to be successful. This is what an innovation center does. And innovation centers of the future are going to focus on a formula. 3 themes: innovation, technology, and entrepreneurship. And in that order. Innovation leads to the creation of new technologies that leads to the creation of these founders' journeys, the entrepreneur's life cycle. Innovation centers of the future are going to focus on 4 very specific pillars: ideate, incubate, accelerate, and post-accelerate. Ideate is when the entrepreneur looks at an idea, a challenge, and they're developing a strategy. And once they've got that a little bit defined, it allows them to go to the next phase, which is incubate. And in the incubate phase, you create your business plan so that it's capable of securing funds and customers. And then you gravitate to the 3rd phase, and that's accelerate. You have a proof of concept, you're generating revenue, you have a customer base, and your goal is to scale that business to the next level, which is now the 4th phase. This is the dream, this is the success. This is the merger, the acquisition, the IPO, or perhaps the global expansion opportunity. So now we have a formula. I have 3 themes and 4 pillars, but we have to add another piece to that formula called outcomes. There are 6 very specific outcomes that we're going to use around the world to measure the success of an entrepreneur, the innovation center in which they're affiliated with, the communities that are served, the nation that it serves, and the world that it serves. And those 6 key outcomes include breakthrough ideation, the creation of new technologies, a new talent skills pipeline that supports the skills that are needed for now and for the industries that we're not even aware of for the future, company formation, the scaling of these businesses through new job creation. So now we've got 3 themes, 4 pillars, and 6 outcomes. That collision station that forced the entrepreneur to collide with the academic partners, industry, government, the funders, the wraparound services that I've mentioned, is the formula for success. And when I look back on my own personal founder's journey, which still continues to this day, I didn't have access to something called an innovation center. I didn't even know what one was. And I think about that dream that I set out as a young child when I said, I'm going to start an airline and prove the world wrong. I did it. We did it as a team. We didn't know what an innovation center was at the time. Had we, our outcomes might have been a little bit different. We identified a gap in the market, in the world aviation market, where there was a need for a brand new airline business model. And we put our heads together and we did it. We secured funding, substantial funding, that allowed us to get to the next level, and we launched the company. That airline launched an IPO out of London and raised more than $60 million. We were taking the world by storm. I left the company, and unfortunately, that airline ended up collapsing. It did fail, but it was primarily due to external forces that were in the world at the time, and many other airlines failed simultaneously. It was just bad timing all around. But had we as a team knew about an innovation center, had access to one, we would have been forced to collide with mentors and facilitators, customized programs, events, wraparound services. We would have learned to have been proactive rather than reactive. And there's a very good chance that that airline would still be flying today. It's also important to note that failure is not that big a deal, especially for entrepreneurs. That's how you learn, and as long as you admit from your failures and learn the mistakes along the way, you're always going to improve. And the Innovation Center of the future is going to support that Founder's Journey 2.0. My takeaway for you today is to truly understand how technology is impacting the world, the change that it has in our daily lives, how we work, and things we're not even aware of yet. To understand what an innovation center is, they're in your communities. To understand what the Founder's Journey is and how it's going to change and become the Founder's Journey 2.0 It's going to revolutionize the world in terms of economic prosperity with the ability to address many of the challenges that we know of today and come up with solutions that we have a difficult time doing today. And for all of the entrepreneurs out there, the entrepreneurs in the making and all the entrepreneur wannabes, when all those naysayers come by and say, no, you can't, you're not smart enough, you don't have money, you don't know the right people, put them aside. Focus on you. Find your innovation center. It's an environment that's going to prop you up, and it's going to provide access to the resources and knowledge so that you are proactive and not reactive. We're going to eliminate the barriers of entry. We're going to increase your chance of success at an accelerated pace so that you can do it over and over and over. So my final words to you: find your innovation center and embrace the founder's journey.